Well, welcome to the channel, viewers. Just let me get set up. We're going for a paddle today. Bit of a new system. We'll see if it works. Okay, just bear with me while I load up. I'll get on. Bit of scenic. Okay, we're away. Dial in the time. Well, welcome, viewers. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. We're going for a paddle today. I hope you enjoy it on the beautiful Brisbane water. Just make sure we're in order. We all seem to be in order. Okay, let's go. Well, you meet someone, of course you get the love bombing stage. That's just automatic. That's just going to happen regardless. That's just automatic. Hang on, this is a new system, so I'm just trying to figure it out. And we've got a couple of glitches going on here. That's all right. And with the new relationship, there's excitement. There's great anticipation. There's tremendous hope. There's a lot of faith. You're prepared to put the effort in. You're excited as to what the possibilities are for the future together. And this is the same for all relationships. And you really want to dig your heels in and get your teeth into a really good, healthy relationship. So you're doing the work and everything's going along fine. And then someone will say something. So hang on, part of this problem could be these neck. I'll just hang on, viewers. No, that's not going to help. Okay, we got that. Are we still on? Yeah. Then what I would advise you for the start of a relationship is listen to the little things that get said. Listen to the little things that get said. Because 9 times out of 10, a woman will give you the clues about how she feels, the secret clues about how she feels and where she's at. I don't think women have problem with doing that because, for instance, the last one I had, one of the things, there was a few things that happened that I should have known that possibly, it may have been just casual rather than try and make long distance out of it. See, we get cranky with people because we want to have a proper relationship, but they don't. And I don't think you've got a right to get angry with someone like that. Reason being is some people know that they just haven't got the stamina, as it were, the commitment or the they don't want to make the invested commitment over a long period of time. Some people just want to be casual with people for the whole of their life. That's just what they want. And we oppose that. We've got a habit of opposing that because our intention's different. And this is where you've got to get things straight with the people that you meet. Sorry, viewers. This is a new idea, okay? It's just a new idea. I haven't tried it yet. But this is part of my daily exercise program. You'll see the beautiful mountains in the background there. There are sharks in here, big ones. But that's all part of the adrenaline and all part of the excitement. So I think one of the first things you need to do is establish, are we going to play the beginning of this out in a way in which we will see if we can make an established relationship? Or are we just going to have a casual fling type thing and disappear into the sunset? That's what a lot of people want. A lot of people don't mind that these days. It's not healthy for you, I don't believe. It becomes habitual. You become unable to have a long-term relationship after a while, because you build yourself characteristically in a lazy way. But each to their own. Some people live their whole lives like that. I don't know where they find all the people that will put up with it, but they seem to be able to. And so the relationship kicks off, sex has begun. What you got to realise too, a lot of narcissistic people, if you find yourself in a situation where it's a little bit hard to comprehend exactly what's going on, a lot of narcissistic people will they'll have sex straight away. I've had at least a dozen women that I've met, and I'm not being rude, I'm just letting you know that I've had sex with within the hour. At least a dozen within the hour. Wouldn't know them from a bar of soap. Some come back for more, some went back to their boyfriends. A lot of these people are out there with resentment. They don't know how to resolve things. This is why I won't go on the dating sites ever again. I don't care. I'll never go on another dating site as long as I live. I met 2 women off dating sites. First 2 women I met. One I married. The first one I married, she turned out to be a full-blown serial overt narcissist. Covert at the start, but completely overt at the end, and so were her children. They wiped out the marriage. Never done a thing wrong. Bought the house, went to work. She caused me some terrible mental disruption trying to manage her. Excuse me. I hope you enjoy this scenery. I've lived in this valley all my life. I'm 57 now. I've had the best fishing in the world, the best surfing, the best hydrofoiling. I hope to do a bit more of this for you. She disrupted my mental stability. We hardly had a fight, but there was some immaturity that started to surface on her part that really psychologically affected me. And being a sports person, I can't afford that because I get hurt. Well, I had a serious kiting accident where I got taken 5 meters into the air, 25 meters across a oval, and I hit the ground, shattered my ankle, which has never been the same. I pray to God for a healing. And I also broke my wrist. I was out of action for 9 months, so I went back to work as a bricklayer in a wheelchair. In the meantime, her son moved in. He was very lazy, very impotent, very full of himself. enmeshed with his mother. One of the worst cases I've ever seen. And I've seen a few now, but this one was bad, really bad. Went to work on the marriage straight away as soon as he moved in. Didn't pay his rent. Didn't contribute to anything around the house. Sat on his ass and had his mother running after him, which I couldn't stand. My first wife, she didn't even do that for our kids. Our kids were independent. My 9-year-old daughter at the time, I think she's 24 now, she's a policewoman. She used to cook, bake dinners, and we'd all work as a team. I believed in teamwork. And welcome to the Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. For those of you that are coming in, this is the other side of my life. I'm very active, very fit. I like to stay that way. There's a tremendous sunrise going off behind us. I'll turn around shortly and share that with you. I've done my walk, I'm doing my paddle now. I'll have a cycle. Later I'll do some balance exercises. We're approaching the train line on the other side of the city, and then I'll go along the train line. Grandad and I, my old deceased granddad, he's been dead for quite some time now, we used to fish on these rocks together, and there's some tremendous fish in here. Yep, so it's working, it seems to be working. So what the problem is, when you're in a relationship, it deteriorates. These people can deteriorate as you go along. They won't let you have a good run in the relationship. They will initially, because they need to fill up their, if they're a female, masculine supply banks. If they're a male, they need to fill up their female supply banks. And the unfortunate part is a lot of people don't know what relationships are for now. They don't understand the power properties and principles and aspects of it. They don't understand that, you know, if you're in an exclusive relationship, I'll just give you a bit of a view of the sunrise. It's gone a little bit off now. It's gone a little bit off. That's the city over there. They don't understand that sex was given to help relieve stress, tension, and other mental things that can help. But it was also to empower you to have hope in your family, have hope in your relationship, to bring you together, to keep you together. But when you're dealing with covert emotional incest, you're dealing with people that will come to you for sex, and then they'll wife the children. And they're not your children. They don't put the relationship where it needs to be, and that will have a negative impact on a male and a female as well. And this is where a lot of the conflict can come from and start, because people don't want to give themselves away. Well, I don't, to someone that's just going to disappear and use that power for someone else. That's the problem. They're using your output, your person, for interests that are not relative to the relationship. They're robbing from you. They're thieving from you, the Bible says. They're robbing and thieving from you. And this is dangerous and not healthy. So the relationship started, the love bombing is all as expected. The love bombing phase can't fail. The only people that wreck love bombing phases are people on drugs and alcohol, because they can't hide as much usually as the straight person. And the difference being, straight people don't normally want to lie. They just want to get on with their life and have a normal, healthy life. Drug addicts are used to lying and scheming and cheating and deceiving. And you'll spot that if you're straight. You just see through it. The covert emotional incest person will be juggling a relationship and trying to condition the person that they're having a relationship with to work around the covert emotional incestual side of their life. Now, this gets picked up pretty quick, because you'll see opposition from, if you're with the parent, you'll see opposition from the child. If you're with the child, you'll see opposition from the parent. And it's illegitimate opposition. And this is what makes the covert side of it overt. Now, we have overt because it exposes it. And because these people have been emotionally supplying each other, and it becomes a lust and a desire that they need to have, they become defensive and offended and aggressive, because they're losing the attention that they're supposed to get from the parent or the child. I'd help you if you let me. He has fishing line tangled around his leg. He'd probably lose his foot. That cuts off the blood. There he is there. Little grey. I'm not sure what bird, what the actual name is for it, the species name. But there he is. There's a view of a... He'll fly off in a minute. There he goes. Poor bugger's got fishing line around his leg. Yeah, so it won't take long for the covert emotional incest to go overt. Reason being is, at first, these people know that the mother or the parent need company. So they'll let them establish company. But by nature of covert emotional incest, it can't help itself. It will surface. And it will start to object to the third person in the relationship. And that's no good for anyone. Covert emotional incest is very possessive. Okay, these two people, when no one's around, they'll have destructive conversations. They'll groom each other emotionally. They'll touch. They'll touch in funny ways. They'll get very intimate in their emotions. That's why it's incestual. And sometimes it's not so covert. Sometimes these people expose themselves in front of other family members, and it's noticeable. You do notice it. People notice it and they go, this is strange, very, very strange. As a matter of fact, this is off. There's something off going on here. So bit by bit it'll start to unravel and you'll notice it. You'll see it, you'll sense it, and you'll start to wonder, am I jealous? Am I jealous? Am I being jealous here? But you're not. You're not being jealous. You're just aware that something's wrong. And it's not necessarily intimate too. There's also a destructive side to covert emotional incest where they pull down their partners and undermine their partners with each other to sort of groom each other's love and commitment for each other maternally. It's extra maternal. I say this a lot. And so the person that you're with now has to start to manage the relationship in a way in which they keep the covert emotional incest covert. So that the covert emotional incest stays covert. And that's not easy. One way the last lot of people done it was just keep him away from the house. You go visit him, but he can't come here because this kid couldn't help himself. He loved his mummy so much that he just manifested. He couldn't help himself. He'd been so spoiled. The golden child of the century, this bloke. Yeah, it was quite off, really. And so you're going along and you're going, something's really just not right. Something is not right here. And you can't quite put a finger on it. And then it starts. Then the opposition becomes more blatant. And there goes a pelican. And they start an all-out attack on who you are and what they think you are, irrelevant to actually who you are. And from that point on, you may as well leave the relationship because it's not going to stop. It's just not going to stop. Because it's been exposed. Now the person's exposed. The problem with it is, if you like the person that you're with, you've got to... I thought in the last relationship we'd get around it. But no, you can't. You can't beat it. It's too strong. Because it's maternal. So I hung around for 9 months longer than I should have. Wasn't to say that it was it was constructive. It was working out in a way in which everyone could have moved forward. But no. Covert emotional incest won't let that happen. It won't let things move forward because, again, as I said earlier, the person will come, supply themselves on you and give you your supply. But that's all it is. There's no building of anything. There's no development of anything. Nothing seems to develop. And you're just going round in circles for the gratification. But you've got to understand, that's all these people want. They just want their gratification, particularly if they're alcoholics or addicts. And if they've got narcissistic traits, they're probably scouting around for more supply anyway. Particularly if there's unresolved in the relationship. If the covert emotional incest has been exposed or some other problems, it's usually associated with other problems. I hope this is helping someone because it's time covert emotional incest got exposed. There are people being ruined all over the place. None more than the parent and the child. They lose relationship after relationship. If they're on drugs or alcohol, they go deeper and deeper into those habits. And if you're a straight person like I am, and you're watching all this, you're thinking, look how people waste their lives. But that's not the problem. They'll waste your life as well. They've got no trouble wasting your life as well. And they've got no comprehension. They're completely self-unaware. They're completely unaware of where you're at. They have no interest as to where you're at. And it just goes on and on. If you just want the sex, then stay in, because that's all you're going to get. You become emotionally confused, mentally confused, emotionally confused, because there's nothing coming out of it that's positive in the terms of emotional feed, because the emotional feed's going to the children, the adult children who live with them and that. It's not about you. It's about the children, but the children can't give them sex, see? That's where you come into it. And so you'll be used for sex. And the more you cater to the covert emotional incest, working in with it and going along with it and all the crap and garbage that comes with it, the more you'll be told that you're loved and all this sort of thing, but it's just, you can just plainly see you're not. Because you're just not. They can say that you are, but you're not. I'll tell you why. Get to the point where you split up with the person. They ain't going to fight for you. They're just going to go back to their covert emotional incest without you around, which makes it easier for them. They don't want you around. If you're a fly on the wall, right, while these people are cohabitating together without you around, if you were a fly on the wall, you'd be mortified. You'd know you're not seeing that side of these people. They're underdeveloped. They're insecure. They're paranoid. They know they're probably going to get dropped. But that doesn't matter, because as long as they've got the covert emotional incest to fall back on, they don't lose. They just go back to where they started, and that's why it's not progressive. That's why there's no progression for anyone. And that's why a lot of these people just don't get anywhere. Again, particularly if there's alcohol, drugs, and the usual destructive things that can go on as well. These people that are on the alcohol and drug side, you won't matter, they'll just find somebody else, because their sex drive gets unregulated and they need to have as much find sex as a way of soothing. Doesn't matter who with. So while you're healing after the breakup, they'll just be continuing on their destructive path, because that's all they wanted in the first place. You come in to a destructive person who had a destructive pathway, and that's all it was. That's all it was. So be aware. If you find yourself in a covert emotional incest situation where the parent and the adult children are too close and it's become hostile, leave straight away. You'll be giving them doing them a favour anyway, saying that people won't tolerate this shit, this garbage, this abuse. My last words to my ex were, oh well, this is abuse, and that's the monkey off my back, the flying monkey, the sun. And he was an absolute creep. Good luck to anyone that meets him. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Bye for now.